And that was really cool. I mean, seeing the side of Luka Doncic that I don't think that we've seen, as well, I guess on the Lakers side of things, from a Lakers fans perspective, media perspective, whatever. We see a ruthless kind of killer on the court, and we see a really kind of soft-spoken sweetheart, for lack of a better word, off the court, who doesn't really like to talk too much. You know what I mean? Gives you one sentence, two sentence tops, and just kind of, gets to the point, doesn't elaborate too much. Just kind of a Jekyll and Hyde guy, you know what I mean? Like on the court, he's this crazy, basketball savant, and then he's off of it. He's, just not what you would expect. But in this game, I mean, he admittedly said more than once that this is going to be an emotional night. He doesn't know how he's going to react to it. He doesn't know what it's going to be like. And the fact that it was kind of an ESPN emotion or promotional thing all day long, and the days leading up to this, and then they doing all their things, ahead of the game, and then Dallas, did some shady stuff before the game. At least the stuff that came out saying that they wanted to work with Luka's partners or something on some kind of thing, promotional thing. I'm like, damn, you got a lot of nerve. You got a lot of balls to do that after what you've done to him. And you could clearly see. So, there was the whole lead up, the hours before, him walking in, him, greeting all the people that worked at the arena, whatever that arena is called. I think it's American Airlines Arena. I don't know. Can't keep track of all the ones outside of Staples, which I can't. I still cringe at calling it crypto, but whatever. Just the whole lead up to it. And I wasn't quite sure what we'd see from this guy because I still don't know him. I mean, I never know him on a personal level, more than likely, but you get a good sense of a guy when you cover him for a while, and it's only been 2 months. So I got no idea who this guy is. I just see, like I said, like a killer on the court who just wants to rip your heart out. And then it's just very soft spoken and doesn't give you much in the media room. And that's fine. That's some players are just like that. I think Jokic is kind of the same way. But anyway, so the lead up to it, they do the starting lineups for the Lakers, and then they wait till the end to introduce him, and then they do this really touching tribute video for Luka, and it took, I don't know, all of 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds, maybe less, for him to just start tearing up, and it really affected him. And then people on the broadcast put things into perspective. He was, what was he, 18, 19 when he started his career there? You're a kid. You're a kid, and sometimes we forget with these guys, these super athletes who, everybody worships, and you don't think of them as an age, unless you're LeBron James and everybody tells you you're 40 every day. But with him, he's, what is he, 25, 26 now? But when he started his career, he was super young, and he was, totally fresh, like didn't have a great grasp on the English language, just enough to get by. And I'm sure it was a hell of a culture shock to deal with everything that he's had to deal with. And he got through it, and he surpassed any kind of expectations for the guy really fast, unusually fast. And he became a superstar before 25, and now he's like iconic. He's known worldwide. He's arguably the best scorer in the league. He's in the conversation for the best player. I mean, I think that kind of took a seat or a back seat to Jokic and Shea, with him being hurt, after Christmas Day or whatever. But people are starting to see it again. They're like, this guy's just insane. He's just insane. But the cool thing is I saw, I mean, I was tearing up, and I don't even really know this guy. You know what I mean? I'm watching it. I can see the emotion on his face. You can see his eyes welling up, and then, his lips shaking. And it's like, everybody's been there. Everybody's been to, that emotional brink where you just like, you can't handle it. You can't control it. It just kind of comes out. Now, I'm a sensitive guy. It happens to me more often than most people, I think. But with him, you just saw it, and he couldn't hold it back, and he's just like, I'm gonna let it go. It's not like he was gushing tears or whatever, but he was just clearly the emotion took over, and you see, all the memories he had on that tribute, and it just you put yourself in those shoes. You can't ever fully put yourself in an NBA superstar shoes, but as best you can. And it got me thinking to like back when I was 18, 19 and having a lot of fun, buddies, and all the crazy stuff we would do and all the memorable moments. And if somebody showed me a tribute video of that, I would just be done. I wouldn't be able to handle it like him. And he's got a camera right in his face. Literally everyone in the arena is watching him, as well as millions and millions of people on TV. Just incredible poise. But the fact that he was able to kind of let that out, he's got the towel on his face, wiping his tears, and there weren't fake tears. And he wasn't trying to be a tough guy like some other athletes would be. Just like, oh, you can't cry. No, he let it go, and it was just enough, and then, I think Richard Jefferson said on the broadcast, I don't know how he's going to be able to bottle that up and focus, for the rest of the night. And then for a second there, I'm like, yeah, he might be right. I don't know how he's going to do that. That's got to be incredibly tough. Anybody that's got to deal with emotion, like, I remember, I'm not going to get into that, but because then I'm going to get emotional. I was going to say, okay, I was working at Clutch Points, and I got a phone call, and I was told that my mom had cancer. She's still going strong today, and this was 6 years ago, right? And I was in the middle of a work day, and I couldn't leave, and I didn't want to tell anybody. I just wanted to bottle it all up and go back to work. And I don't know how the hell I held on. I really don't. I'm sure the guys saw it, and they just didn't want to say anything. I told them eventually when I, could handle telling somebody. But for him to go out and do that, and he struggled a little bit, just a little bit in the beginning, and then he just turned on Luka crazy mode. And I have never seen, I'd say probably the only experience that I have witnessed an opponent's crowd rooting for the star of the other team, like openly and like cheering them on with every basket, was probably Kobe's, farewell tour. And when he would get going on a certain night, I mean, he didn't have a lot of those nights that season. It was pretty rough, but I mean, the 60-point game was incredible, but that was at home. That was given that people were going to go crazy, but just Kobe had that kind of effect. He just, he get MVP chance at the free throw line at away arenas, which is crazy. It's just wild. How what kind of level you got to be on to do that? You know what I mean? To win over people, especially, guys that are, people have a bone to pick with, like, especially Kobe was just a different animal, right? He pissed people off. He rubbed people the wrong way. And then there's Luka, who seems to be well liked by everybody, but the referees, I guess you'd say. That technical foul, the second one, was rescinded, by the way. One of the most ridiculous technical fouls I've ever seen, and the league rescinded it pretty early today, or like midday. And I thought that was, I mean, cool. I'm glad they did it, but the damage is done. So like, well, what's the difference? What is that going to do? Is that going to give the Lakers another win in the win column? No, it's not going to do shit, anything. It's just going to be like, okay, yeah, well, you were wrong and you admitted it. But I'd love to hear that JT or guy, come out with a statement saying, yes, I was clearly wrong or whatever, or him get fined for a mistake. Whatever. That's, I mean, I totally forgot about that until just this moment, but because just everything, so much has happened since then. But, Luka, picks himself up, gets back into Luka mode, and just goes insane. Scores 31 points in the first half. That's the most he's done as a Laker, right? And then Little slow start to the second half. Kind of tends to happen with Luka. He kind of just goes off in the first half, and then either tries to get everybody else involved in the second half, or just backs off a little bit. But I mean, he picked it up again, and then ended up with 45 points in the end, and chants from the crowd when he was at the line. Fired Nico chants were going all night long, which is insane. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think that's a new experience for me, but just the fact that this guy got so much love and respect and heartache from those fans, I really felt for them. I'm like, even watching the tribute video, I'm like, I'm getting upset. I'm like, I don't know this guy, and he's playing for the team that I covered, that I've loved ever since I was a kid. Why am I getting upset about this? And it's just because it humanized the guy, right? It made him into, just like everybody else, just like one of us, but just with an incredible talent that we all wish we had, these basketball fans. But it was touching. It was touching to see that, and then to see him go off and be Luka and have the most points he's had as a Laker so far and still be red hot. You know what I mean? And lead the team to a win, which as a result, the Lakers have clinched a playoff spot officially, and they can drop no lower than the 6th seed. So that means the play-in tournament is kaput for the Lakers for the moment.